Let's kick this whole thing off with just one word. You've probably seen it on a menu, sure, but it actually holds a pretty powerful secret about how we can all live a richer, more authentic life. And that word? Gumbo.
Right, so gumbo is, of course, that amazing soup from Louisiana, famous for its incredible mix of ingredients. But it's that second meaning, the figurative one, that's so fascinating. Gumbo can describe any kind of complex blend. And that's exactly the lens we're going to be using today, to look at our own lives as a kind of gumbo.
And this leads us to the big question, really. Think about it for a second. You have all these different parts of your life, right? There's your work self, your family self, the person you are with your old college buddies. So what happens when those separate worlds, all those very different ingredients, suddenly, unexpectedly collide?
Most of us, and this is totally natural, we try to keep things separate. We kind of build these walls between the different parts of our identity. It just feels easier to create these neat, manageable little boxes for who we are in all these different situations.
The source material just puts it so well with this line here. We really do tend to see our lives as these distinct chapters, you know? Each one has its own cast of characters, its own setting. The you at work might feel like a totally different person from the you on a Saturday afternoon. And with that separation comes this comforting, but let's be honest, often totally false idea that these worlds are just going to stay in their own lanes. We kind of go about our business as if these chapters are sealed off from each other and are never, ever going to cross over.
And the thought of those worlds actually colliding, it can be genuinely terrifying. I mean, this quote just nails that feeling perfectly. It's the sense of total disorientation, like you've just stepped into the twilight zone. And that anxiety is so real, because what it's really about is a fear of losing control.
This whole fear of collision forces us to ask a really tough question. If you're so worried about these different worlds mixing, are you actually being the same authentic person in each one? It's a real test, isn't it? A test of whether the core you is consistent across all those different chapters.
But here is where the story starts to flip. What if that messy collision isn't some disaster to be avoided at all costs? What if it's actually an opportunity? What if the very thing we're so afraid of is really a catalyst for growth?
I love this shift in perspective. Yeah, the first moment of that collision is going to be a shock. Of course it is. But once that initial shock wears off, something else starts to creep in. Curiosity, maybe even amusement. You actually get to watch and see how these totally different parts of your life and the people in them interact with each other.
And this, right here, this gets to the absolute heart of it. We're afraid of the shock, the messiness, the uncertainty. But the reality? The reality is that those things are what lead directly to growth, to a deeper understanding, and to the very process of becoming who you are meant to be.
So the crucial takeaway is that this variety is unbelievably valuable. I mean, when you let yourself engage with different jobs and hobbies and social circles, you end up meeting this huge range of people. And they challenge you. They give you new ways of seeing things. And every single one of those interactions plays a part in making you the person you are today.
Which, of course, brings us all the way back to our central metaphor. We started with this idea of gumbo, and now we can see how the messiness of life, it's not some flaw in the recipe. It's the whole point. It's what makes the flavor so incredibly rich.
Let's just sit with that for a second. A life well lived is rarely a straight line. It's not about getting from point A to B as fast as you can. A truly rich life is about the process itself, that gentle bubbling, the surprising things that get tossed in along the way, all those flavors mixing together.
So, what does this actually mean for you and me? It means we have to let go of this idea that personal growth is some clean, linear path. Real growth, the good stuff, it happens in the mix. It happens when your wins, your failures, the people you love, the challenges you face, it all gets stirred into the same pot. And the result is something way more complex and beautiful than any one of those ingredients could ever be on its own.
And that naturally brings the focus right back around to you. We've been talking about this in a big, abstract way, but now it's personal. It's time to think about your own unique recipe.
The source material leaves us with this really powerful, simple image. Just picture it: a book for your mind, a basketball for your body, a paintbrush for your creative side, and a coffee mug for those quiet moments or your social connections. They're not in separate rooms. They're all right there, together, on the same table, each one a glowing, valid part of the whole.
So I'll just leave you with this to chew on. What are the unexpected ingredients in your life? What parts of yourself have you been keeping separate for so long? And what beautiful, complex, and totally unique flavor might come out if you finally let them all simmer together in the same pot?